Hello, hello. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven. Let me get that shine out of the screen there. It is Thursday. I was going to say it was Wednesday. That's how street crazy my week's been so far. It's Thursday, May 22nd. That means it's review night. And with me, as always, I got both co-hosts this week. Yay! We have Just Peachy. And we have Ray Figaro, John Norris.
Also hello, everybody.
Also known as
hello.
Yep.
And I don't know. Does that Peachy look good to you there, Stitchy?
Yes, it does. It looks just peachy, in fact.
Yeah. No, I mean, is it? I mean, yeah. I mean, you like fruit, right?
Yes. Giant melon.
So anyway, it's been kind of a crazy week, hasn't it?
And it has.
I mean, we had a product that on Tuesday we did the video and it got erased somehow. We don't know exactly how. I think what happened was when I logged out of StreamYard, I accidentally deleted the broadcast. That's the only thing I can come up with.
No, that's not good.
Yeah. And I don't know how, but I did because nobody at YouTube was saying that there was any reports of anything wrong or anything, so they didn't remove it. So that's all I can tell you. So there was that going on.
That's all they're saying. They're sticking to it.
Yep, that's all they're saying. That's what they're sticking to. So anyway, we got a lot of stuff to go ahead on. So let's go ahead and get started with reviews tonight. Starting with, there we go. Beauties and Beasts, The Art of Craig A. TAILLEFER for $20. Publisher Craig A. TAILLEFER Comics and Books. Creator Craig A. TAILLEFER. Its genre is it's a pin-up and art process sketchbook. Originally released in 2018, but I didn't get it until recently. There is no what it's about. It's a sketchbook. What do you think it's about? This is a nice collection of the artist's works, both pin-ups and some pencils-only process works. Some images are from way back in the early 90s. Lots of fantasy art, some comics characters. And it's always interesting to see a person's work evolve over many years over different genres. And I give the book a 4 out of 5. There's the cover, a little more. You can see.
Good looking cover.
It's kind of got that Al Williamson vibe to that particular image. There's another
Very nice.
Very cool.
So let's kind of go into some of the more very fantasy oriented type stuff.
Right up my alley.
I want to make sure I don't pick any of the questionable. I think most of this has it all covered, but here's a cool one where the Hulk has stolen all the kids to the pool, and the mom's like, "Hey!"
That's funny.
I think this is supposed to be Pitt. I'm not sure. On the left.
That's definitely Pitt.
Okay. And then and just in general, some interesting things. Here's some of the Dark Horse Greatest Heroes characters: Rebel and Motorhead. Remember these characters?
Does not ring a bell.
Not for me either.
Okay, these were like 93, 94 from Dark Horse. So here's another Pit, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So he was very much into that sort of thing back in the 90s. Here's some process pages that are half pencil, half inks.
Oh, that's cool. Always love to see that stuff.
And I'm gonna pull out some of the. Here's some of his Elf Quest work he did in pencils, sketch pages.
Oh, nice.
Because he used to work on Elf Quest now and again.
Very nice.
No, I was going to show that one, but that's all right.
A little too risque.
Way too risque. One page was really nice. The other was like, nope, can't show that. Just a lot of interesting characters.
Yeah, I recognize Atlas over there, right?
Yeah. I think that's Colossal Boy from the Legion because they're all Legion characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's Timberwolf, I think that's Timberwolf, and then that's Colossal Boy, and then Lightning Lad, I think. But
the design is very close to Atlas.
Yeah,
from the Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Here's a bunch of variety of characters as well. Science fiction, fantasy.
Very nice.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the page I wanted to show. It's back here somewhere. Here it is. You can really see his pencils.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got a lot of nice, facial work that he's doing the designs on, and stuff. So, and see what kind of work he does. So that was good fun to get, and worth my money on that.
Right.
All right, our next book, we're going to let Chris read.
All right, this is Moonshine Bigfoot number 2. I believe that's $4.99. Publisher Image Comics. Writers Zach Howard and Mark Marlowe. Penciler Steve Ellis. Inks Zach Howard. Colors Nelson Daniel. Letters and design Thompson Knox. Title logo design Ed Lavalley. Editor Chris Ryall. Genre adventure, crime, and comedy. Released April 23rd, 2025.
Actually, that's
rating. What's that?
That's not the correct date. That was actually released May 21st. I don't know why it's 23rd, but
age rating 13 plus. What it's about? Buzzard County. We're dealing with the mysterious mushrooms, sinister squirrels, and ghosts from Delaware, just part of an average day. A routine car chase has already changed Moonshine Bigfoot's life forever. Only problem is he's too stubborn to see it. Moonshine better wise up quickly, as Amethyst's tarot cards can even predict the chaos about to be unleashed by Big Level. I enjoyed this issue a lot more than the first. It explained things a lot more. There was actual character development. It had a beginning, an end, and plus, or a middle and an end, and plus there was an actual plot in there as well. They actually threw in a plot. So it introduced new characters, the Ghost. Still kind of getting used to Steve Ellis's art with Zach Howard's inks, but now that I know it's that, I get it. Interesting to see the process of one of his pages penciled before Zach's ink. Yes, absolutely.
Great story so far. Some of the lettering was hard to read in spots, particularly online, which I know you had to read yours online.
Right.
The good news is that you could always blow it up and read it online.
Right.
I had it in print, so I was like doing back and forth compared. But yeah, there were a couple of questions on that. I would have liked to have done a little bit different, better lettering, coloring of the lettering. It might have been easier to read. I really like the pencil ink process, the stuff they showed in the back of the book.
Yeah, it really shows what Zach does with his inks.
Mm-hmm. There was that, and I don't know what I did with the book. Oh, I know I did with it now, but that's all right. Okay, but this is one of the best things about having co-hosts, because your interests are different than mine, and that means I have to explore titles that I probably would not have pursued on my own, and I would not have looked at. This I thought was going to be up Chris's alley. Otherwise, I would have never picked this book up, and I'm glad I did pick it up because I'm really enjoying it. I give it a 4 out of 5. Chris gives this one a 3.5. If you'll remember, he gave the first issue a 2, so he is much happier with this issue.
Yes, and I have to say, I want to see more of Chupa. Like, will Chupa find his forever home? Will he finally get something to eat? Well, I want to know. I want to see more of Chupacabra, man. He's such a good character. I feel so bad for him. I see him and all I can hear is "In the arms of the angels."
Really?
Yeah.
Oof. I would think more like "In the arms of the Satan."
Oh, he's adorable. He's just a good pooch who wants a good home.
Okay, whatever. Let's take a look at the art. And of course, Chupacabra's right there, front and center, blazing red eyes, and I don't know what you want to call it, spiny tail or whatever.
Yeah, those are spines. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, art's cool looking.
It's just it's really crazy. Like I'm assuming you're going to show the penciled pages, right?
There's only the one.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm assuming you're going to show that because it's just it's kind of mind blowing what Zach brings to the page with his inks.
Just a second.
I love I do love the ghost character. I thought that was pretty cool that only Bigfoot can see.
Right. Yeah, I had to make sure I had the book in case I didn't scan it, right? But I'll have it there. But this is the page. The page on the right is the one that they have the sampler of. And I don't know. Let me see what I'm doing here. No, I didn't. Okay. No. Okay. So what we'll have to do here is we'll have to go up here, and I'll go real up close to the page here. Now you see how kind of weak his biceps look compared to his forearms,
right?
In this picture.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the actual inked page. You can see how he kind of filled in and over and extended expanded the musculature of the arms.
Right. And Zach has, of course, a much thicker line, and a little jaggier, almost. Whereas the pencils are extremely round and smooth. I mean, still great art.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, it's just Zach brings a whole nother level to it with his inking.
Right. So, no, like that up close. Like that.
There we go. We don't want to be that close, man. Woo!
Now you really are the giant peach, aren't you?
Right. Chris is the giant peach.
But anyway, there's some more art here for the book. this is a hilarious picture. This is what they did to the sheriff. They made them a freaking cyborg.
Right? It's a
And the
fucking
funny part is
cyborg.
the doctor that's in the white coat there. It's Hulk Hogan.
Yes, exactly. I noticed that too. I'm like, holy shit, that's Hulk Hogan.
And he's like, no, I mean, it's so Hulk Hogan, not just because of how he's visualized, it's the way the character's portrayed.
Yeah, he talks. He's like, okay, brother. Like, you know, he always saying brother. Like,
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that was kind of cute that they did that.
yeah. I saw the character. I'm like, wait a second, is that Hulk Hogan? And then when he said brother a few times, I'm like, yep, that's Hulk.
Yeah, so
And they call him what's his name?
Dr. Murica.
Yeah, Dr. Murica. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah. Okay, our next book is Bug Wars, number 4, $4.99. Publisher Image Comics, writer Jason Aaron, art by Mohamed Arzrar, colors by Matthew Wilson. Cover that is shown is by Azron Wilson, and then there was another cover by George Corona and Sarah Stern, lettering by Becca Carey, editing by Heather Antos, genre science fiction fantasy, released May 21st, 2025.
And that is a stunning cover.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely stunning.
What's it about? Imbued with the power of a mystical amulet, Slade Slaymaker has survived blood-crazed mosquitoes and barbaric beetle riders. But as he crosses the wilds of the yard with the spider witch Wista, which is who's in the front, an even greater danger awaits, for they must enter the world of death and utter ruin known as the Mode Lands. Oh my God, it's Mode. What are we going to do? We can be seen. Pacing on this book is still a little slow in my opinion, but it is moving forward at least. I did not feel like it was necessary to bring in the lesbianism. The Spider Witch has a female lover, which is forbidden, of course. And I don't think it really matters who her lover was, male or female, either way. If the whole point was the reason it was forbidden is because she's supposed to be with an appointed warlock, the result would be the same, right? They would be ostracized or their lover be killed off or whatever. And so, in fact, I was pretty surprised that they didn't show the lover being killed off instead of what was explained, which was that the character wasn't killed off, just sent away to another part, and I'll never see her again, boo-hoo. I was like, okay, whatever. What was the point, you know? I'm still sort of with the book, but my interest is waning, and they really do need to pick up the pace with issue 5 or to keep me around, because I'm just losing interest with each passing issue. I'm giving it a 3 because it's still middle of the road, but they gotta do something with this book. All right, go ahead.
Oh, okay. This is Dark Regards number 1, $4.99. Publisher Oni Press, writer Dave Hill, artist Artyom Topolin, colorist Brittany Peer, letterer Troy Pateri, designer Winston Gambro, editor Carl Ballers, genre dark comedy, released May 14th, 2024, with a rating of Teen Plus. What this is about: 2 decades ago, Dave Hill and his first band set out to rock their high school auditorium in a fury of heavy metal hellfire. They failed miserably. Years later, Dave has made a new life for himself as a rising star in the New York comedy scene, a career where getting laughed at on stage is the entire point and not just a tragic consequence. But when Dave's metal ambitions are reawakened by uber self-serious satanic genre of Norwegian black metal, Dave creates a ridiculous hyperbolic alter ego and a band to match that together reignites the spark of his forgotten rock and roll fantasy. But when Dave's internet-fueled rumors of witches taint rules forever, a metal band so extreme that you must remove all sharp objects from the immediate area when their music is played, spreads all the way to Europe, his story will spiral dangerously out of control as Norway's most extreme black metal butchers come to reap their vengeance and put everything and everyone Dave holds dear in the crosshairs of their axes, which truth be told, don't actually have crosshairs. But hey, it's a metaphor. I really like this. Raven knew I would, of course. It deals with heavy metal music, my favorite musical genre, and of course, you can't talk metal without its alleged or true ties to Satanism, which I find to be an endlessly amusing subject. By the way, yes, I do. I love the dream sequence part of the story, and the faux covers in the back were fantastic. So yes, I give this 4 stars.
Okay, now we have to go and add to the stage some of this artwork.
Right.
And this is from the book. So tell us about it, Chris.
I'm having a brain fart. Tell us about it, Chris. I'm sorry.
You're the one who read this one. I didn't read it.
I did. I don't.
Is this even in the right order? Yeah, this is the right order. Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Let's go to the next one.
Okay. Hold on a second. Move and add to this one.
So yeah, he's getting back into his metal roots. And he ultimately goes and he has this dream.
Yeah, and there's a dream he's getting like influenced by the whatever he's hearing in his head.
Right. Yeah.
And then he's just clacking away on the keyboard, telling whatever he's telling. Okay. All right. I seem to remember like a scene where, because I didn't read the whole thing, I saw some of it, but I thought you were gonna like pull up the artwork where he went to the record store and the female clerk was gonna like, you're an ass.
I got some of it, but I didn't have time to convert it because it was a WebP.
Okay.
And I didn't have time to convert it, but I did get some covers. So some of the covers in the back, like of course this is a King Diamond riff on King Diamond, and then we have one down here.
Find it.
Dark Regards 5.
Right.
That is of course Judas Priest.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, so they had more in the back, but these were 2 of my favorite cover riffs.
Okay. So, all right. Let's go on to the next book then, if we can. I want to get to John, though, because John's been waiting patiently for his turn. Here we go, John. If you'll, it's not sharing it. There it is.
There we go.
All right. This is Nacellverse, the Great LARLOO, issue 0/599. Publisher Oni Press. Writers Leon Reiser and AJ Jothakumar. Artists are AJ Jothakumar on pencils and Jothakumar, Travis Heimel, and Jacob Chabot as finishers. Not inkers, finishers, and Howell Canola on colors. Lettering is by Ghost Glyph Studios' Taylor Esposito. Cover artists are Kano with various.
That's what you're seeing is Kano's.
Yes. With variant covers by Adam Polina and Ulysses Areola and Ramon Box. Editor Carl Ballers. Designer Winston Gambro. Genre action adventure sci-fi. Release date April 30th, 2025. Rating ages 8 and up, which is my rating. So what it's about. Since the events of Nacellverse 0, which you may recall I talked about before, the orphaned alien LARLOO has crossed the cosmos, gearing up with RoboForce, racing alongside the biker mice from Mars, witnessing the power of the
Oh, sorry, I was trying to do something. Okay, there you go.
Of the sectars of Symbion and observing the ascension and rebirth of Atom Power and the Power Lords along the way. Now, on his newly adopted home of Earth, he's found his true purpose and made peace with his destiny as the last remaining survivor of the doomed planet Larlon, or so he thought. Dum dum dum. When faced with an epic choice between a mundane existence and accepting a new kind of cosmic challenge, will GRAALOO discover what it takes to be not just good, but great? Featuring the first ever solo adventure for the Great GRAALOO, the iconic toy monster who first slammed into the American imagination in 1961 and led the birth of the Nacelleverse in 2024, Nacelleverse The Great GRAALOO #0 is the next milestone moment for the aspiring alien hero, soon to be featured across the Nacelle Company's upcoming slate of animated series, beginning with the debut of RoboForce in 2025. So, what I thought. So, when the Nacelleverse began, of course, GRAALOO was the one property that I had never heard of before. So, here's a quick recap. GRAALOO was a remote-controlled robot monster created in 1961 by Louis Marks, whose company also created Rock'em Sock'em Robots and the Big Wheel Tricycle. Here, he's a little green alien with a great singing voice and an ability to change his size, and he's the central character in the Nacelleverse. Now, of course, it's always nice to see the RoboForce crew and Throttle from Biker Mice from Mars, but this issue is GRAALOO's story all the way. Reiser and Jatha Kumar do a nice job of providing some backstory and really fleshing out GRAALOO's character. I mean, he really does run the gamut of emotions. I mean, there's laughter to tears, exhilaration to pain. You know, we see him trying to do well at his job while dealing with trying to control his size-changing ability and coming to terms with survivor's guilt and regret over having left his mom on bad terms. And through it all, his positive attitude and loyalty to his friend Big Lou shine through. As for the artwork, Jatha Kumar's lines are nice and Canola's colors are appropriately vibrant. Now, Jatha Kumar, Heimel, and Chabot are credited as finishers instead of inkers, and I don't have access to the penciled pages for comparison, but the artwork really does feel consistent throughout. All in all, I think this is a great issue. It packs a lot into 32 pages of story. And I haven't even mentioned the Survivor Meets American Idol contest that GRAALOO participates in. And not a single panel feels wasted. And I really do think it proves to be GRAALOO to be a well-rounded character. I really do find myself having a big soft spot for the little/big guy. To be honest, he's become not just my favorite character in the Nacelleverse, but one of my favorite characters in comics at the moment. No joke. I liked him the minute I first read about him, and this issue makes me like him even more.
Well, I do agree with John. Did you need something, Chris?
Yeah, you want to tell everybody what a finisher is in case they don't know?
That's what we're getting to.
Oh, you're going to tell them? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. While I agree with John that the creators do a reasonable job of introducing the character and giving him enough of a range to make him feel well-rounded and someone you can care about, I just couldn't get into this book, which kind of fits for me personally, since the only Nacelleverse title I actually did like was Power Lords. But that was because the only one of the toys I liked. So there you go. But I won't say I was disappointed by the interior art, but I do think Kano's cover is a better art style, and I would have preferred to see the whole book done by Kano. That's just me. The story's okay. and there is a lot of potential for the character. Now we'll get to what finishers versus inkers is. Usually, the penciler does a full rendered pencil, and an inker works from that. Traditionally, finishing means that the penciler only did loose breakdown pencils, or they only did pencils that they were going to do inking themselves, so they may not have done the full detail work, which means they were going to assume they were going to complete the art later. Based on what I can see on the pages, I would say that AJ, or Lofa Kamor, I just say AJ because I can't stand trying to pronounce that last name constantly. He was doing very loose, cartoony work and planning to ink the book himself, and that time restraints had him bring in the other two guys. Personally, I don't think it's anywhere near his best work, and to me, the art feels rushed. But it is of a professional grade level, and I am not going to criticize any of the people who worked on it in terms of what they executed per se, because it is mostly consistent in style and design. And if I was not fairly familiar with his work elsewhere, I probably would have a higher opinion of the book as a result, because I know his work elsewhere. I feel like it's a little bit lesser. It just feels average in comparison to the best stuff I've seen from him. John's giving it a 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a 3. But let's look at some of the art. This is the all art by AJ.
Yep.
And you can see there is a pretty decent line weight differential going on. It seems like there's maybe a little bit of digital stuff going on in that center panel, because that could be because of how it was colored, because it looks like the inks were like colored over as browns to give a color.
Yeah, there's color holds there. Yep.
Yeah, and it kind of roughs it up a little bit. I don't know if that's how the inks were intended or not. But overall, pretty well-rounded and diverse range of line weight and depth perception.
And I chose this page specifically because I like that you can see Garloo going through several different emotions in 5 panels, and I think he pulled it off quite nicely.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Now this is the page ink by Travis Heimel. Notice that the art is much more open-ended and that the line weight is more uniform in style than what was done by Jotha Kumar on the previous page. It still captures the style correctly, but it's more of an animation style, inking style, than a full comic inking style. And the lighting and shadows are coming more from the color than from the line art. I'm gonna go back to the other page in a minute, but do you understand what I am saying?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I absolutely see that.
Let's go back. You see now if you got thin lines over here on RoboForce character, mediocre lines, or not mediocre, medium thick line on some, but also a lot of fine line detail on the manager. And then on the foreground, you got a heavier line weight for Garloo himself.
Mm-hmm.
And you get this, little tiny thinner lines on details for certain things here and there. Then you go to the backgrounds and you've got, just a lot of different line differential. Where here, almost everything is pretty uniform in terms of line weight.
Yes, and that does take away from the power of the art itself.
Not necessarily, but I mean, it's just like a different interpretation, and the inking or the coloring has to carry it more. That's all. And I think the coloring does carry it fairly well.
Yeah, the coloring is real nice. That's just my opinion, because the lack of line weights in the ink does take away from the power of the drawing itself.
Yeah.
For me.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Now let's go to the next page. And this is inked by Jacob Chabot, or Chabot. This is truer to AJ's full style. You can see the differences in the line weights, and it has a more comic book inking style compared to the animation style of inking that Heimel brought on the last page. And you can see different line weights and thicknesses and depths throughout this. I think all three of them are reasonably well executed, but I would have preferred to have this inking style for the entirety of the book. Am I wrong to think that?
No.
I like this. No, I like this much better.
Yeah. And that's not to say that AJ can't ink himself. He does. And I'm going to show you just how much difference AJ is. I'm going to give you another example of breakdown to the finished work here for AJ in just a second in unrelated works. This is his cover to Quantum and Woody. You can see the breakdowns on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see he changed the figure placements in the actual base drawing. He put Faith from the bottom left corner into the center and moved Shadow Man to the bottom left corner. He changed the goat for Quantum and Woody and put just the head in the centerpiece there. And then he inked that. And you can see that's a completely different art style than what you saw in the comic.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep.
But you can see there's a lot of different line weight and depth perception in this that he didn't have in this book because they were looking for more of an animated cell or animation style, partly because the other books are kind of animated series, plus they're trying to use that stuff as source material for the animated series later on that they're going to do, which they've already launched the RoboForce one, but that's part of the reason why they're doing it that way, is my not my guess, but my intuition, shall we say. Figuring it out. Whoops. Go back. All right. There's this another cover he did for Exo Manowar for Valiant. You guys can see the really loose breakdown on the left. More of a digital refined breakdown in the center. Then he did the finished line art and did some shade rendering for the colorist to get an idea of what he wanted. And then this is the final piece.
And speaking as a colorist, me personally, I hate when the penciler or the line artist puts grayscale in.
I know you do.
It's such a pain in the butt to deal with.
Yeah. And then here's some more examples of AJ's art, just to show you the versatility of his art styles.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I mean, that's a Jack Kirby from a photograph, more or less, just drawing, from a photograph, and it's doing a sketch of him. And then that's an actual animation design for X-Men cartoon.
I was going to say that looks exactly like the X-Men from either Wolverine and the X-Men or the one where they're in high school.
Yeah, it's from Wolverine.
Evolution.
Evolution, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's from Wolverine and the X-Men.
Oh, is it? Okay, I knew it was one of the two.
So you can see he's a much more versatile artist than what the Garloo comic art suggested necessarily. And I'm not saying the artwork on this comic was bad, but I think by showing the variety of art that I've shown you, you can see why I think it could have been done better.
Right.
Sure.
Yep. Completely.
So that's kind of where I'm at on that one. That's why I gave it a 3 or 3.5, and while John gave it a 5. And that's partially because John doesn't know that range the way I did. If he'd known that stuff, you probably would have given a lower score. But you're from what you knew and what you saw and what you're basing it solely on that work. Yeah, that's fair. So let's go ahead and go back to.
John doesn't rank with his eyes, man. He ranks with his heart.
Oh, come on. Okay, next book. This will be really a quick one. Epitaphs from the Abyss, number 11 for $4.99. Publisher EC Comics and Oni Press. Writers and artists are various. Genre horror comedy, released May 21st, 2025. What it's about, it's the same old thing. Anthology series meant to invoke the sensibilities of the classic EC style comics of the 50s and 60s, but with a more modernized style from today's so-called popular writers and artists. Each issue has multiple stories from different creative teams. This was an improvement from last issue. I'm not a fan of this particular cover, mostly because of the digital fire in the foreground. It's clearly a digital effect and not, it just kind of ruins the effect of the painterly style behind it. All three, but the artwork for the cover does represent the inside story well. All three stories were okay, but again, not really what I would call an EC type of story, in my opinion. Joey says he liked the B cover for this issue of Epitaphs. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Because I don't think this was the B cover. This was the A cover, if I remember correctly. Which one was the B cover? He likes the one that kind of reminds you of, okay, hold on a second. I got it.
Actually, that cover, this cover almost looks like it could have been referenced from 3D models.
Yeah, that too. I'm gonna stop this screen and share the screen that shows what Joey's talking about. Is this the cover you're talking about, Joey? Because that's the B cover according to the website. And
I like that.
I mean, you don't like it?
No, I do like it. I like it a lot.
Oh. I mean, to me, it reminds me of Wednesday Addams, of course.
Exactly.
It's Wednesday in the Things.
And I think that's exactly what the artist was trying to invoke.
And also, this also does pertain to one of the stories really well, where the story is she convinces she's a gardener, and she goes to give the flowers out to people from her garden, and they kind of like scream at her for being late, or it's not the right flower, or whatever it is. And she convinced someone else to do basically commit murder and bury her grandma and start her own garden.
Well, there you go.
So it was it's a cool cover. So there's that. Let me see here. There we go. But like I said, it's just not really. It doesn't quite evoke EC to me. They're good horror comedy stories, but it's more like it kind of evokes more like the 80s modern TV shows,
right?
More so than the classic comic, and I want more of a classic comic. This is 3.5 stars for me because last issue I gave it 3, and it is a better issue than last time, so I'll give it a little bit of a higher score. Okay, Chris, this is yours.
All right, we have Exquisite Corpses, number 1. Publisher Image Comics, writer James Tinian, the 4th. Artist Michael Walsh, colorist Jordi Belair, letterer Becca Carey, editors Eric Harburn, Steve Fox, and Greg Lockard. Genre horror, dark comedy, released May 14th, 2025. What it is about. Every 5 years on Halloween, the wealthiest families in America play a game. 12 of the deadliest people in the world are dropped into a small town with just one goal. Last killer standing wins. For the civilization of Oak Valley, Maine, this year's unlucky arena, the goal is much simpler. They must survive the night. This is absolutely a riff on The Most Dangerous Game. the rich, basically hunting the poor, or the average person. It has been done 100 times over, but it was still an interesting little story. With a twist. I like the whole idea of each family having a specific killer that has a specific weapon from that family, like it's a family heirloom. And there's a little bit of purge thrown in as well. So it was an enjoyable story.
What did I think? Well, continue never write anything that isn't a complete takeoff off of something else. I mean, something is killing children is Buffy in a John Wick world of monster hunters, and this one's Purge Most Dangerous Game. Show me you actually have some fucking imagination, Tinian.
I did not get to finish this either. So, but what I did read, I gave it a 3.5. So
yeah, I was so bored with this, I didn't even bother finishing it. I was like, give me something that's actually fucking original. I hated. I did not like this at all. I gave it 1.5. I'm sorry. And, if it's your thing and you're into that kind of genre and that kind of thing, because a lot of people love this book, apparently. It's one of the most favorable of recent weeks. I've seen a lot of praise for it. And I'm just like, I don't see it. It's just,
the dialogue is good, and again, I gotta have some pictures down there. There are like
we're gonna share them.
The idea of each family having a killer is, I think, original. Like that little twist, is original. So,
whoops, what's it doing here? Come on, show it. There we go.
That's the local conspiracy theorist gas station nut that every town has.
Right. And the art's not bad. I'm not saying the art is bad. It's just that conceptually it just bored me. I hate to say it, but
right. And that's an example of one of the killers,
right,
from one of the families.
Right. It's like it's Rascal Randy. He wears a bunny suit and kills people.
Yeah. And the whole idea of that the winner gets to basically, that family rules the United States for, the 4-year period.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of interesting, because that plays into that whole conspiracy theory of the uber wealthy, actually running the country. So
right. Yeah. But we're going to decide which one of you has a representative who dies. I mean, to me, it's like the other family relatives don't have a bunch of other psychopathic nut jobs. They're just going to go after the people who win.
We are. No.
I don't know. I just couldn't get into this concept. I'm sorry. And I think it's because I'm part of it's I'm jaded, because we've seen it so many times.
Right.
But not only that, but we've seen it so many times recently.
Oh yeah, like I swear every other movie that comes out is like the rich hunting the average or the poor,
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you think of the concept, John?
I agree. It's been done to death, and of course, I didn't read this comic, but I don't know.
Oh, I just thought, what do you think? Yeah, the concept. I know you didn't read it.
I mean, it's definitely been done a lot.
Yeah, that's about all you can say, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been done to death.
It's been done to death, and we don't need it resurrected again. All right, next one is Herculoids, number 3. Go ahead, John.
Well, once it comes up, there we go. Herculoids number 3, $4.99. Publisher Dynamite Entertainment. Writer Tom Snigoski. Artist Craig Rousseau. Lettering Taylor Esposito. Colors Ami Rimolante Jr. Covers are the main cover is Francisco Matina, which you're seeing right here. with other covers by Joseph Michael Linsner, Bjorn Barends, Kyle Hotz, and Dan Panosian, with incentive covers by Rousseau. Editor Joseph Rybant. Genre, adventure, fantasy, sci-fi, released May 7th, 2025, rating teen. What it's about: Attack of the Underworld. In this issue, the mole people have risen up to conquer their surface-dwelling rivals, and the Herculoids are the only force that can hope to stop them. But to defeat these relentless invaders, the dedicated defenders may have to destroy all of planet Amzot's subterranean realm. So, what I thought. So, after some false advertising in the description for the last issue, the mole people finally appear in this issue. Now, whether they're truly a menace or if there are other forces at work is not something I will spoil here. I will say that the artwork, while good, is a mixed bag. On one hand, I think Rousseau does a great job drawing Tundro, Igu, and Zoc. And in this issue, Tundro and Igu in particular, I think, have some wonderful panels. On the other hand, Gloop, Gleep, and the humans are just okay. And once again, we have several panels of a faceless Xandor, and I still don't get it. And I must say, Rousseau did a development art cover here, which hopefully we'll show in a second. Mm-hmm. But I think that cover is wonderful. I think that cover should have been the main cover. I think Zoc looks fantastic, and Tara and Gloop look better on that cover than they do in the comic itself. And I still can't get over the fact that Zoc is a female in this comic.
What do I think? Here's the cover by Rousseau.
See, I mean, like, that just looks so much better than what's actually in the comic itself, I think.
Well, not just that, it's so much better looking than the main cover.
Yeah.
I just, and it depicts what's inside the comic. So, I mean,
yes.
What's the point? But anyway, I'm in agreement with pretty much everything you said here. I would be firing Joseph Rybant from Dynamite completely for letting Greg Rousseau not draw the faces. And I'll be making it clear to Rousseau that that won't be tolerated anymore. I like Greg, but he's better than that. This should have been the main cover. They need to get their asses kicked at Dynamite. And now that Diamond isn't around, I'm kind of hoping Universal is going to put their foot down and end all the bullshit gimmick covers. That seems to be that's all that's keeping Dynamite afloat, unfortunately. Probably not, but one can hope. When I say that, folks, understand I'm not wanting Dynamite or any other publisher to fail. What I'm saying is I'm sick and tired of retailers having to waste their budgets on covers to appease maybe 5% of the marketplace. Let's build our readerships based on the stories and not buy the same book over 5, 6, 10, 15, 20, 30 times over just because we got to have all the covers. And I think it should be mandated that the interior artist is always the main cover artist. And if you must have variants, there should only be a maximum of 2 other artists and then a blank cover. 4 total variants is more than enough, I think. Don't you?
I would completely agree. Because it's just a straight out cash grab is what it is.
Yeah. We both give this a 3. I think we're kind of being a little bit generous, but 3 is fair. It's an average comic. Let's take a look at some of the art. And these are really good panels. This is the panels that John's talking about. The first panel is kind of an odd panel, but it's hard to draw Tundro from that particular perspective and get the thing going. That's kind of why they always do them from the side or the front. So, the fact that he even tried to do it from a 3/4 perspective is pretty cool, The facial expression on Egu is funny. And then as the mole people collapse and start dragging them down underground, the facial expressions are really well done on these pages. And I just don't think it would that Egu would have been dragged down so easily by only a handful of. I think there needed to be like a whole page of like 30 or 40 of the mole people trying to drag him down or something.
Yeah, he's a little more powerful than that.
Yeah, so that but it's okay. It doesn't kill the story or anything. But here's the panels that John's talking about again. One panel, 2 panel, 3 panel, where there's no facial features on Xandor as far as eyes go. And in some cases, no facial feature at all in the bottom left. And there's no reason for that. You can see right next to him, even if it's just 2 dots in the mouth, like you got on the sun. That's better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean it's an obvious, it's a distinct artistic choice to do that. And the editor was obviously okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not good.
But I can see why it's annoying.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, John. Next one. Your favorite thing in the world. And before we start, I want to do it this way. And I want to... I got to do this first. Where'd John go?
I don't know.
Oh, he's trying to tell me.
Let's get kicked out.
Maybe I did kick him out. Whoop. That's not what I want. He says, hold on. He'll be back in a minute. All right. Well, let me make sure I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen for a second. And I'm going to go back over here. Make sure we covered all the people. Yeah, we covered that. We covered that. Covered that. Covered that. Covered that. I'm making sure we covered all of the ones we're supposed to be covering. That's all.
So, have you seen the commercials or the commercial for the new Lilo and Stitch movie?
Yes and no. I don't watch a lot of TV, as you know.
Right.
I've seen parts of it.
I have seen it. I thought it looked really darn good. And I'm usually not happy with the live action remakes, but I think it looked really good.
Okay, John, you're going to be this thing isn't right. Okay, it's not doing what I want it to do. There we go. Nope, it's not doing it. Just go ahead and go that way.
All right. Lilo and Stitch from 2024. Publisher Dynamite Entertainment. Writer Greg Pak. Artist Julia Giacomino as a triple threat on pencils, inks, and colors, with Simona Guida as a color assistant. Lettering Jeff Eckelberry. Cover artist Joshua Middleton for issue 1, which is what you're seeing right here. And Nicoletta Baldari for issues 2 through 8, and variant covers by Craig Rousseau and others. Editor Nate Cosby, genre comedy, sci-fi, action, adventure. Release date January through November 2024. Rating all ages. So what it's about. Get ready for a new adventure with Lilo and Stitch as the irrepressible pair launch their very first ongoing comic series by writer Greg Pak and artist Julia Giacomino. Lilo life seems to have calmed down for Experiment 626 and his new family on Earth, at least until evil aliens come hunting for everyone's favorite blue-furred troublemaker. The kicker? They're using giant they're using giant robots that are powered by Stitch's own DNA. Will Lilo's beloved pet be able to take on these villains and lead them away from his adopted planet and loved ones? And even if he succeeds, will he be able to find his way back home? So what I thought, this was an 8-issue miniseries, and whether you know me or not, looking at me right now, it should be very, very obvious that my love of Stitch knows no bounds. So, I have some Stitch artwork from Lewis.
Very cool.
Of course, I got my Disney World Stitch ears and my Disney World Stitch shirt and my Stitch mug, Jim Shore Stitch figurine, and
one of these days I'm gonna venomize Stitch, because that's those, and then he can like be the two first.
All you're missing is some Chris Saunders artwork of Stitch.
Oh, if only. If only. Okay, so
yeah.
So Stitch has been my favorite Disney character ever since I saw the original movie back in 2002, and of course I just showed you some of my Stitch collection, and of course I have the movie and the soundtrack. So when I heard that Dynamite was going to publish a Lilo and Stitch comic, I was beyond eager with anticipation. Unfortunately, because I've been so backlogged, I only finally got around to reading it this week. And boy, was it worth the wait. Not only did this series meet what Raven feared would be insurmountable expectations, given my love for the characters, they exceeded them.
Oh, good. This is my greatest worry for John. I was so scared you were going to not like this.
Stitch spilled.
Well, I mean, I was looking forward to the Herculoids, and that comic could be better, so you just never know.
Mm-hmm.
So the gang's all here. Lilo, Stitch, Nani, David, Dr. Jumba, Pleakley, Cobra Bubbles, the Grand Councilwoman, and yes, even Captain Gantu. So for all you internet folks who were upset with the recent announcement regarding Gantu and the new live-action movie, just get this series, now available in 2 trade paperbacks, and read it. You will feel much better. New nemesis included the aliens known as the Cluster Sovereign, who are the aliens powered by Stitch's DNA, and a hunter taxidermist named Carlington Yeager.
Okay, stop there. For those who don't know, what is the announcement about Captain?
The announcement is that Captain Gantu will not be in the new live-action movie, and that, of course, as announcements like this sometimes do, that has caused several people to voice their displeasure on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Stitch sad.
So, did they give a reason why, other than the fact that it would cost a ton of money in CGI effects?
Not from what I've seen. And then, of course, I haven't seen the new movie yet. I'm going Saturday. But apparently, whereas in the original, Cobra Bubbles was the social worker that took care of Lilo's case. The idea seems to be that Cobra Bubbles is actually going to be the one hunting Stitch down. So, okay. Again,
all right, that's fine. Well, like I said, I think that's basically because they didn't want to spend a bunch of money on. They spent so much doing Stitch for CGI everywhere that to do another one or a bunch of more would be I don't know. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But okay, we'll go ahead and get back to the review then.
So one thing that really impressed me about the series is the fact that the same creative team was on it for the entire run with no fill-ins for even one issue, which is something that seems to be increasingly rare these days. And so as a result, the series truly feels like a unified vision. And I must say that Greg Pak and Julia Giacomino are both inspired choices as the creative team. Like I said before, Giacomino is a triple threat handling pencils, inks, and colors. And I think her work consistently evokes the vibrant look of the original movie. Of course, you know, the original movie, of course, was 2D animation, and it had a lot of watercolor backgrounds. And I think her work evokes that very nicely. Greg Pak proves that he really knows and understands these characters. And I mean, the story, this is a truly globe-spanning story. It takes Lilo and Stitch from Hawaii to New York to Australia to India and even planet Turo. But Pak never loses sight of the main theme, which of course is Ohana. And y'all probably know the quote by now. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. And the story is about the kuleana, or responsibility, we have to protect our ohana and malama aina, the environment and its creatures. And I included those native words because that's another thing that I appreciate about this series is the cultural aspect. You know, again, Stitch touches down in Australia and India as well as Hawaii, and I think all of the cultures represented are treated with respect, and particularly the Hawaiian island culture. They actually brought Native author, speaker, and cultural ambassador Moana McAdams. They brought her on as a cultural consultant, along with Ryan Griffin in issue 3. Like, really, folks, I can't say enough good things about this series. You know, like I said, you know, I just got to it this week, and you know, when I sat down to read it, it was late at night after a long day of work and a meeting about another upcoming show that I'm going to have. But it's like, once I started reading, I could not stop. I mean, I think this series embodies the spirit of the original movie, and I think you can tell it was, or at least I can tell, it was produced by a creative team who really cared. It's genuinely funny and heartfelt, and even a little bit emotional. And I think of all the Disney series that Dynamite has produced thus far, I think this is the best.
That's not exactly what you wrote, though. I corrected you. That's why there's an asterisk.
Well, I said one of the best, because I also really think they're doing a great job on Darkwing Duck too.
Yeah, but here's my response to that. I'm going to respond to your review a little bit. Like a parent who is afraid his child is going to be hurt by something he loves that might not be what he thinks, I am relieved and overjoyed that your series is what you wanted. However, after all the years, and especially recent months of Disney Dynamite comics, where you have talked about the problems with the coloring, and you've talked about the problems with the lettering, and this includes Darkwing Duck, you can't tell me that this was not the best book you've read from them. Not one of the best, the best. I don't really need to go through the ranking scores. This was a 5-star for you. I say, because of how much you like this, we're going to give it a 6-star rating.
Ohana means home.
Yeah, just to make the point, because and people go, why are you giving it 6 out of 5? If you guys know anything about wrestling, there are 6-star matches. This is a 6-star comic.
And once again, talking about Craig Rousseau, I love these covers for Lilo and Stitch that he's been doing. I absolutely love them.
Well, just in general, not just Lilo and Stitch. I mean, when he does any of these colored backgrounds, where it's like it's blended into the background of the cover itself, like this. He's done it for other Disney characters and books, and they all look good. I wish that he would do more like that, almost with the HERCULOIDS. But yeah, really good book. Here's some of the artwork from it.
And I chose the page on the left specifically because I love the fact so Stitch lands in New York and trying to escape from the aliens that are attacking him, which you see on the left, and they end up at the Manhattan Toy Con, and I just love that one guy's expression when somebody actually draws a picture of him. I just love that.
Yeah.
Like squee.
Yeah. The humans will sketch you. Look. And the other shark variants like on the cluster sovereign is right. We really aren't aggressive enough. I'm so ashamed. But it is lovely, isn't it? And of course, you see Lilo in the extreme foreground on the left there. But and then this is from a different panel. And there's Captain Gantu. And I think, when you see the comparison of things, I mean, I realize they shrank them a little bit, but I mean, you figure out how much bigger he is than all the other characters and how that would look on the live action show or movie. That's a lot of CGI effects to have to pay for.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why. And I wish they would tell people that.
But it's freaking Disney.
Yeah, I know. They're like, you're multi-trillionaires. You can afford it, right?
Right. I mean, they're gonna make $500 billion on this movie. So,
I don't know about that, but
this movie's gonna kill at the box office because it looks fantastic. Like the trailer just looks incredible.
You really think so, huh?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I
Coming from a 3D animation background, yes, it looks amazing.
Yeah, I've loved their marketing campaign for this movie. I've loved it, and it's like they did with the original, where they did those trailers where they put Stitch in other Disney scenes, which I loved back then. I think they've done a great job marketing this movie.
Okay.
They have.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't watch any television to speak of.
Well, Lilo and Stitch was one of my favorite Disney movies as well. So, not DreamWorks, right?
No, it's Disney.
Is it Disney? Okay, Disney. Yeah. Okay, yeah. One of my favorites as well. So,
that's the funny thing, because I was born in Hawaii. I should be like gung ho all the way on this, and it didn't really speak to me the same way.
Well, Stitch says, "Pee."
I liked it, but I don't know. How do I put this? The villain seemed a little bit too incompetent in the first movie. I think that was what it was, if I recall. The movie is like. I did like the characters as far as Lilo and Stitch and Lilo's family. I don't know. Not Captain, the scientist guy with his 4 eyes.
Oh, Jumba.
Jumba. he annoyed me. But that's,
Plus, I was a fan of Chris Saunders,
Mm.
so I really enjoyed
Yeah.
LILO and Stitch. So
Well, that's fine. Like, again, this is a great book. I recommend it for kids and of all ages. So that's where Chris needs to go.
It's the best, not one of the best, the best.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go on to the next one, and that's ROBOWOLF #1, $4.99 from Dark Horse Comics. Writer and illustrator Jake Smith, with digital art tech by AJ Newell, pre-press tech Jake Johnson, and editors are Britt Israel and Tara McCarran. Genre science fiction action adventure, released May 21st, 2025. Age rating teen plus. What is it about? ROBOWOLF and his crew of bank robbing criminals are in a race against time to get a fat stack of stolen money to the villainous Colonel Massacre, who has kidnapped ROBOWOLF's daughter for ransom. The Colonel's not the only one with the eye on the money, though, and our heroes will have to use their combined skills to tear through an onslaught of bloodthirsty cannibals, ninjas, robots, and robbers, and more. There's just a whole mess of them. Chris, you never told me what you thought about this.
what I did read, this book is basically a bag of cocaine tripping balls on acid.
Okay.
So tell us what you really think about it.
That's what this book is. It reminded me of one of those. It almost reminded me of one of those like black light paintings. Just because everything is so just insane, vibrant, just it's nuts.
That style is nuts. Yes, and that's what he's known for. But from what you read of the story, though, were you lost because of all the glaring?
No, I mean you could understand what was going on. I wish I could have read more.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Huge fan of Jake Smith's style ever since I first discovered him online with Blood Force Trauma, which you got to get Blood Force Trauma, Chris. You got to get that trade from Dark Horse. Have Bob order that. This is the same sort of vibe, only it's a futuristic heist crew, and it's awesome. It's that black light, vibrant colors. It's also that 80s video game art style influence. The violence level is the 80s ultra violence. That's like what you see in a lot of the old, all the B movies of the 80s with
right.
And gun violent and stuff. It's so much that. And he just hits a certain vibe and he does it gloriously. I give it a 5 out of 5. And you don't know what to give it because you haven't read the whole thing yet, right, Chris?
Right.
Okay, that's fair. Let's take a look at some of this crazy art, though. Just crazy vibrant. In fact, he even uses the peach you're wearing on your shirt.
Yes, he does.
Oh man, but I mean, these characters are so cool looking to me. I mean, I just love this stuff.
This book,
covers,
this book could have been co-written by Andy Sedaris.
Okay.
Andy Sedaris was one of the producers and directors of those,
right
80s.
I mean, it's the A-Team band with a green and a
right.
And look at the inside though. I mean, it's got all this tech everywhere.
And I almost thought it looked like the Turtles van almost, just a little
Yeah.
bit like.
Yeah, it's also got the Turtles van too. Yeah. But the inside looks like the freaking Millennium Falcon.
Uh-huh.
and they told him, hey, get these coppers off our backs. Okay, eat lead.
Right. And there's just no, like, of course there's no explanation for anything. It's just everything happens and that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you get into the story more, there is more explanation. You didn't get quite enough of you only got like a 7-page preview out of the 32-page story, so you only got like a third of it.
Right.
But I mean, just the artwork is crazy. I kind of wish the teeth were like super white instead of the natural tan, so to speak.
Right.
Just because it kind of needs that whiteness to like stick out and be more vibrant. But other than that, I mean,
some of this art is reminiscent of Crumb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the
Robert Crumb, right?
Yeah, the pants. I mean, the hatching and everything is just in the coloring. It's very reminiscent of Crumb.
Mm-hmm. And then you look at the graphics. I don't know if you guys can see it well enough, but they did like actual money on the bills,
mm-hmm.
digital effects. That looks cool. I like the idea they get all these little stickers on the back of their inside of their truck or their van doors.
Whoever had to color this.
He colors it all himself.
Oh man, that's got to take forever.
So I mean, it's just amazing stuff. So okay, that's all for this week as far as our reviews. We missed some reviews for this week because some crazy stuff was going on. I missed like 4 books, but 10 is enough for the day, I think. But we'll get to them next week. We got next week. What do we got? We got Countdown to Cobalt Crisis, Bronze Star, Chlor, and also the Planet Dark one, which goes with Chlor. Fatal. John's covering Zootopia and Silverhawks, I hope.
Silverhawks.
What are you saying to that, John?
Okay.
We're going to try and get Martian Manhunter, our Absolute Martian Manhunter, the new issue of Minor Arcana, and quite a few other books because I just got today some more goodies in the mail. I haven't unboxed it yet, so we'll wait and see who that is. Unless you got me to unbox it right now.
Go for it.
Why not?
Okay, then let's go ahead and see what we got here. It says it's from Spellbound.
Spellbound Entertainment.
Yes.
That sounds like an 80s movie production company.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Well,
in a world where Raven reads comics.
We got a bunch of books in here. We got 4 or 5 in here, actually. This is the J.M.T. Matisse universe. We got the Edward Gloom Mysteries, number 2.
That looks pretty good.
Oh, over here. Let's see what else we got. Oh, you just put them in all sorts of weird directions, didn't you, buddy? Okay, we'll figure it out here. We've got Any Man number 2. You? What do you mean you? There. We've got Godsend.
Well, that one looks cool. Cool cover.
We've got Layla in the Lands of After.
That looks pretty good too.
And lastly, we've got Wisdom number 2.
Solid picks.
Yep. And the fun part is I've also got digital copies of these. I just haven't done yet. So guess who's getting the downloads? You want the downloads to look at too, John, or just Chris?
Sure, I'll take them.
Okay, we'll see what we can do about that. All right. But then, so we got those, and we got other books that come out next week. So we'll wait and see just what all we have for next week. Okay, that's next week. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. There'll be all three of us, actually, not just Chris and myself, because John's actually going to be able to be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to be reviewing Batman Ninja versus Yakuza League. And then this weekend, I was planning on doing some live draw, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because apparently I've got some other things I have to get done. So we'll wait and see. But
and what are you doing Saturday, John?
He's going to see the Stitch movie.
What time?
Actually, I'm going with a buddy of mine. We're going to see Lilo and Stitch, and then one of our local theaters is doing Monty Python's Spam-A-Lot, so we're going to see that.
What time are you going to the movies?
Movie starts at 3:00.
Okay.
Does
the name, huh?
Sweet to harass you while you're watching the movie.
No, does the name David Alvarez mean anything to you?
Yeah. Yep.
David and I are going to be interviewing him Saturday on our show. And he's actually, I think, going to be doing a live draw animation demonstration.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
what time Saturday?
8 o'clock, 8 p.m. I thought you might enjoy that.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I'll be at Spam-A-Lot then. But if it'll be will it be available on?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. You'll be able to watch it on YouTube. Yep.
I will definitely check that out.
All right.
I figured you'd enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I'm still here. Don't forget me. I'm here.
Yeah, I see Dave Alvarez I see his posts on Facebook sometimes, and he's done some wonderful Looney Tunes art.
Yes, wonderful. He does. Yep, fantastic. Yep, and a lot of Disney stuff as well too. So
yep.
There you go.
There he is.
There's the Midnight Monster.
So before we go, I gotta be seen. The mascot must be seen, right? This is my Stitch right here, right?
Although he blends right in with your shirt.
Oh yes, he blends in everywhere. So, yeah, I just want to be center of attention.
Yes, he is.
All right. Okay, so that's Friday, and so if you guys have questions or comments, Facebook Lewis.BrightRaven, the Muskrat X channel at LewisBrightRaven2. See more of my artwork at DeviantArt.com/BrightRaven. If you want to see some of Chris's work as a colorist, DeviantArt.com/FatBoy73. Quoth the Raven, Lewis Raven on YouTube. If you have, like, you want to write some books that you want us to review, or you have comments about what we've said on the show, Quoth the Raven, LBR72 at gmail.com, or LewisBroughtRaven at yahoo.com if I don't get back to you through the Gmail address. And if you want to reach out to Chris, go through ghthrowingstones at gmail.com. If you want to reach John, RayFigaro at hotmail.com.
And I think Midnight needs his own fan email.
You do.
Yes, I think Midnight needs his own fan email.
And what is this going to be? The Midnight Monster at gmail.com or something?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
What?
Okay, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
We'll see what he wants.
Right? Well, right now he's thinking, you got to feed me. You've got to feed me. Can't wait anymore. Go for the door.
That's probably true.
So, Chris, how do you like that shirt?
I love it. I love all the shirts. Love this one. I love that you guys got the talls because, you know, as a big man, shirts are always too short.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Come on.
Love the whole.
Want to get down. Yeah, not so he's something else, isn't he? But anyway,
He is.
That's all for now, folks. We're gonna see you guys tomorrow night at 8 for movie night. Batman Yakuza, or Batman Ninja versus Yakuza League. There we go. And we'll see you guys next time. Quoth the Raven. Nevermore.
Nevermore.
Nevermore.